the day. And but the song in the background is Pentecost Praise Jam by Yabwedu Jr. And that's a very powerful one. All right. So today we're talking about something very important. We're talking about staying ahead, how business owners can actually succeed in changing times. Now, the world of business is actually changing very fast. And like I was telling you in our business brief segment, a lot of things are happening from technology to consumer behavior and even global economics. So the question is, how do entrepreneurs not just survive in such a climate, but actually succeed through it all? And that's exactly what we are finding out this morning right here on the Business Breakfast on Z. Now, I have been joined by two individuals who are going to help us have this conversation this morning. I have our own in-house economic analyst, Emmanuel Boateng, and also Emmanuel Ejari Eje. He's a general manager of Hipro Marketing, and they are going to share their experiences with us. They're going to share their thoughts with us this morning. All right, so gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, great. I'm sure that is Emmanuel Ejari. Now I have to be very careful because if I say Emmanuel, both of you will be speaking. So Emmanuel Ejari, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, you're welcome to the Business Breakfast on Z.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
And the company's name is Hipro Marketing.
Hipro. Oh, okay. Hipro Marketing.
Hipro
All right.
Marketing.
All right. Great. And then Emmanuel Boateng. Ima.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Trevi.
Good morning once again. Good to have you back.
Yes. Good to be back.
All right. Great. Okay. So let's begin by setting the stage. Now, Emmanuel, you are an economic analyst, and so you should be able to help us with this one exactly. Now, how would you describe the current business climate in Ghana right now? Would you say it's getting easier or tougher for entrepreneurs? Hello, Emmanuel. Emmanuel Boateng, yes, specifically.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was asking that how would you describe the current business climate in Ghana right now? Would you say that it's getting easier or tougher for entrepreneurs?
Well, thank you. When we look at the economic landscape right now as we have it, I think that there are several powerful forces that are fundamentally reshaping how businesses are operating. And I think these changes are happening at a very fast pace. I think the first major force that is reshaping how things are being done here in Ghana is the role of technology. I think at this current stage, we are living through what many economists call the fourth industrial revolution. And I'm sure that's a phrase or kind of a phenomena that so many people have heard about. And especially where artificial intelligence, automation, and digital platforms are not just improving business processes, but they are actually completely redefining how industries should operate entirely. What once took weeks can now happen in just 10 seconds. And this speed of innovation means that businesses would either adopt to it or they'll risk becoming irrelevant. And so when you look at that and how globalization is also taking shape, you put that together, maybe another thing has to do with the kind of consumers you have today. It's not like the ones you had in the past. In fact, technology has even changed the behavior of consumers. Literally today, people want to sit in the convenience of their rooms and conduct business. When you have customers and clients, in the past where you had to move to them, today there are some who want you to have a Zoom call. There are some who want to see the business presence online, among so many things. So there are so many forces that are driving businesses, from technology to globalization and interconnectedness of the market. You know, today, if you sell a cosmetic, your customers can actually buy that same cosmetic from somewhere else apart from you. Some other businesses that may not be in your defined geographical location, they can buy from another customer in another part of Ghana online. It will be delivered to them, or they can even go to an international market and it will be delivered to them. So these forces are changing the pace at which businesses are taking place. I mean, I'll not talk about policy and regulation because that had already been a mainstay. I mean, this is the point. When we look at the climate that businesses have been governed by today, it is not what we used to see some time ago. And now businesses are being, uh, as it were, moving in tandem with these stages, especially with the technology aspect of it. Because if you fail to do it, you are going to miss out on your customers or your clients. And once you miss out on it, I think your revenue is gone and you would not have to think about profit. Perhaps you can only dream about it.
I see. Right. So it's obvious that, but are things getting easier or tougher for them, really, for the entrepreneurs, from where you sit?
I think for some, it's getting easier, but for the majority of them, it's tougher. I'm sure you called on me because of some other factors. Besides what I spoke about, when you also look at some other things like how much of financing they have access to be able to expand their scale of operations, that is also a bit of a challenge. Recent reports I've read, and in fact, surveys I've conducted myself, indicate that getting money in terms of accessing financing in financial institutions is a bit of a challenge for many businesses, especially startups, micro, medium, and small scale enterprises. They are facing the most. It's very, very difficult. And it will be, there is also a current trend about green economy. It's not just about the economy of Ghana, but globally, businesses are supposed to go green in terms of climate change issues. And that requires some level of investment. Not all businesses are able to scale up to that level is because they do not have the capital to do so. So when you put all of that together, and this morning, as we spoke earlier, when you look at the unpredictability in the system, that also adds up to it, and it makes it appear as though it's not as easy to be able to thrive in these times. But let me tell you what, given the way the economy has been going since the start of the year, I think it's a path that is clear, and businesses who rally along, I'm sure they'll be able to find their feet in the middle of the world.
Right. I see. Okay. I'll come back to you. You mentioned a very important factor, which is funding. We'll talk about that maybe as we move ahead. But let me come to Emmanuel Ejari. Now, Emmanuel, you are on the ground. From your experience, how have you seen the business environment evolve in recent years?
All right. Thank you very much. I would like to thank you and then thank your listeners this morning. So I am a marketing consultant, and as a marketing consultant, usually my analysis are going to be biased towards customers. I always say that I am on the customer side. So in responding to this, what I can say to that is that yes, there are some difficulties in the market, right? Some businesses are suffering, but then again, because of technology, now it is better and far easier to start and scale a business than ever before. Imagine in some years back, if you wanted to do retail, to sell any product at all, you either had the option of going to stand by the roadside to call customers to come to you and come and buy, or you have to invest, get money, get a shop, stock it, get workers. If you don't have money to get workers, you have to be there physically by yourself, manage the stock by yourself, everything, before you can then sell to customers. But now you can sit in the comfort of your home. You can import products from, say, China. You can list the products online. Customers can reach you through digital platforms. You can deliver the the products to the customers through delivery. They will pay to you through mobile payment platforms. For me, I will tell you that has made business very, very, very easy. Because if you compare this to back then, where you had to do everything manually, everything, everything was the traditional way. You have to be in a shop and all that. You can agree with me that things have changed and things have gotten better. But you see, with these changes and these improvements also come their own unique difficulties. So I'll say that I'm glad the economists mentioned technology as a key driving force. But you see, technology alone is not fine. Technology is a key driving force because, for instance, it has influenced how we even buy things right now, how we pay for things, how we see new products and services, right? But then innovation is the real deal. The technology may be there. How are you innovating on it? If you are, for the companies and businesses who are able to innovate leveraging the current technologies, and even moving away from technology to talk about policies, to talk about global changes, to talk about other factors that he mentioned. Always, it comes down to innovation. Difficulties have been there since the beginning of time. It's the companies that are able to innovate over time, innovate and keep on innovating. They win in the end. So yes, my response is that there are some difficulties, but the companies that are able to innovate have it easier will keep on will capture greater market share.
And they'll stay in business. Okay, right. So, very important thing you also mentioned, innovation. We'll talk about that very soon as well. Now, so it's obvious and it's clear that we're in a rapidly changing business environment. But what exactly is driving the pace? And I'll come to you, Emmanuel. Are changes in our business scenes here in Ghana happening faster now than before? You've already said that it is happening. What exactly is fueling that speed? Hello, Emmanuel Boating.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, what exactly is fueling the speed that we are seeing?
Yeah, so there are actually a number of factors at play, and we just highlight a few. But of course, technology is at the heart of that, because when you see the disruption that is happening, and I use disruption in a positive sense, not in a very negative sense at all. When you see what technology is doing, it is changing the way you used to operate completely. And when I talk about technology, it includes artificial intelligence as well. Today, the organizations that are applying some strong algorithms that is scaling up their operations altogether, if you fail to adapt to that change, you'll be left behind. And for us, that is how we see it. It is driving it very, very quickly. Yes, I know revenue matter. I know profitability matter, among other things. But even how to be able to retain your customers, how to be able to improve your revenue, how to be able to keep your business going into the foreseeable future, technology has become that backbone to drive that up. So if you not one, either adapt yourself to suit it, two, develop your own technology to drive your business, three, use it as a key component of what you originally do, I don't see how you are going to make it out. Because literally, having a business is like competing. There are other businesses who may be doing the same thing you're doing. I.e., you call them your competitors. Somebody has said, if you keep doing the same thing, you don't expect a different result.
Absolutely.
And once the context is changing and you still do the same things, then I think that you are sort of telling us that you are still living in the old context. And I don't think that's the case, because your competitors really will hop onto this new normal. And they are going to leverage on that to do business. Once you don't do that, literally today, there are a lot of businesses who are online in the digital space. They are running some algorithms. Once you view their product, I'm telling you, all you'll be seeing on your feed is their product. That is what these are things that businesses have paid for. There are businesses that are paying for ads across multiple platforms. And sometimes you don't even need to see an ad. You are watching something very interesting, and all of a sudden, they just pop up without any announcement.
Right.
That is the situation we find ourselves in. And I agree that there are many, many businesses in this country. But it shall be today, in the Amagana that we see today. In the past, we would say that agriculture was heavy. In the past, that's what we say. But today, Amagana, as we have it today, we see a lot more services and we see a lot more industries. In fact, we analyzed the survey recently, which told us that a lot of our youth coming out of the university do not even want to go into agriculture.
Yes.
Today, we've left agriculture behind. And a lot of the people want to go into services, and a lot of the people want to go into industry. And I can assure you that is where technology is even heavy. I'm not saying there's no technology in agriculture. No, there's a lot of it there. Precision farming and the rest of them. But if you look at the businesses that today Ghanaians are getting themselves into, it is technology that is causing the difference. Of course, they have to comply to some regulations, among other things. But the moment they start applying technology, using it to profile their customers, using it to sort of create their niche markets, see how to meet the demands of their consumers, get the cream of the market, among other things, I'm telling you, that is where they begin to shoot up the easiest and very first.
I see. Right. Okay. Let me turn to you, Emmanuel Jare. Now, for you, I mean, how do you personally keep up with these new trends and the shifting customer expectations?
Right. So, for keeping up with new trends and shifting customer expectations, I mean, basically, you are in the market, you are dealing with customers. Why don't you just listen to them? I always find it very difficult to understand companies that have a hard time listening to their customers. See, at the bottom and at the core of all of these economic uncertainties and everything, it comes down to the customer. So if you are in business, it's as simple as just listening to your customer.
Right.
Sometimes it's as easy as just asking. So, sir, please, what do you want me to offer you? Times they will just tell you upfront, okay, I want you to change to this and that and that. And when you provide it to them, they will pay for it. So it's very easy, just listen to your customer and follow the trend. Essentially, your business exists for the customer.
True.
So if the customer's taste is changing, if the customer's preferences are changing, what are you doing? Staying at where you are, saying, as for me, I don't do this. Your customer has moved online. You are not online.
You're not online.
What are you looking for?
Right.
What are you waiting for? Your competitor will move online, reach your customer. Very soon you say you've lost your customers. The country, I mean, but you fail to listen to your customer.
Yeah.
So I'll say listen to your customer. And you hear me say listen to your customer a lot, because at the end of the day, it comes down to the customer. And most businesses, especially small scale entrepreneurs, if you just listen to your customers, you will succeed.
If you listen to your customers, you succeed. But do you think, from what you see, do you think most Ghanaian entrepreneurs are actually adapting quickly enough to keep up with the change?
I would say yes, and then also, but I mean, it varies. It depends on the industry and also the exposure the particular entrepreneur has, and the knowledge that particular entrepreneur has. I would say for especially younger entrepreneurs, they have taken digital transformation very seriously. Almost I mean, TikTok alone has created many entrepreneurs, right? When you go on TikTok, the influencers that you see, those who are making food content, those who are making funny skits and all of that, they are entrepreneurs as well. Don't forget, they're selling a product. The product is the content you're consuming. And so, I mean, yes, I think so. I think so. I mean, they are trying, they are evolving with times, but some are still stuck in their ways. And you find that with the older generation of entrepreneurs who grew up in the era of brick and mortar. They are stuck in brick and mortar. I mean, I run digital marketing for companies. Sometimes you approach a company, you want to help them go digital. They're telling you, no, I don't need digital. I already have my customers. And I always marvel, because what are you telling me? Your customer is on digital. What are you doing in brick and mortar still? Go to your customer where you find your customer.
Right.
So it's a challenge for some, but for some, they have really adopted the digital technologies, especially, as I mentioned, the younger generation of entrepreneurs.
Yes. Right. Emmanuel, do you share the same sentiments? Emmanuel Boateng?
Nitrabi, I do share the same sentiment. Because you see, I mean, for the marketers, they say the customer is king. I mean, for us at the other side of things, we see things differently because we are looking at money, numbers, and the rest of them. Yes, it's the customers that become the vehicle through which you make that money. And once you have a certain customer base and you don't listen to them, like he made a very important point. Your customers are online, offline. How do you connect? Your customers are online and you are offline. How are you going to connect? I think they've ceased to be your customers. Your customers are those who would then be offline. I mean, some people would just do things the way they think they have to do it. But one of the ways you adapt and innovate is even with what your customers want. Customers can be a pivotal point to you redirecting your energy into something new. Product development, among other things. It comes from customers' preferences. Because at the end, who are you serving? You are serving the customers. So it is, so long as what they want is something that will kill them. I think that is the path that you should follow as a business. Otherwise, once you miss out on them, you're out of business.
Out on them, you're out of business. I want us to talk about innovation next, but let me just quickly announce our phone lines just in case anybody's listening to us and they want to join a conversation. If you're listening to us, this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Nietzsche B. Hammond. And this morning we're having a conversation on how business owners can actually succeed in changing times. And so far we've agreed that things are changing and things are moving very fast. And so those who adapt are those who actually succeed in these times. If you want to join the conversation, feel free to send me a WhatsApp on 0544 321019, 0544 321019. You can as well call me on 030395661, 030395661, and then I give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with us this morning. We're on Facebook. We're streaming live on that platform at ZFMGH. You can quickly search ZFMGH on Facebook and you are able to drop a comment under the live stream. And also, we are on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please drop a comment there and I'll read them for you as well. All right. Now, let's come back into the conversation. Now, innovation has become more like a buzzword, but also for many businesses, it is actually easier said than done. From where you sit, I mean, you are on the field. Emmanuel Jari, what does innovation really look like? And you were talking about that early on when we started the conversation. What does innovation look like for a small business owner in Ghana?
Okay, thank you. So, innovation simply means improving. I mean, as human beings, we have to, we have to strive to improve. If you don't improve, you are going to die off. If you look at the human body, when I say improvement or growth, when you were a baby, you were about 16 inches tall. Now you are 7 inches tall. Your body has improved, it has grown. The same way with business. If you run a business, you are dealing with customers, you are not improving. Someone else comes into the market, they improve, you lose your customers, and now you are crying. Why didn't you improve? Maybe you didn't listen to your customers. You didn't move with the trends. Not just improving just as an idea. But basically, if you want to innovate, innovation has to do with finding the market that is not being very well served, right? And then serve them. So you may be a product by listening to your customers. As I said, always listen to your customers. How do you listen to your customers? How conduct surveys. Sometimes it's as simple as just asking them questions, observe them, notice what they are doing, notice new trends, do your own research. Now you discover that this market, there's a particular segment of the market that is not being served properly, or there's a product that is lacking, there's a gap in there. You quickly move in there to provide that service. Let me cast your mind back to the COVID era when hand sanitizers were, scarce. We saw how our alcoholic beverage companies quickly innovated, right? Yeah. Then they started producing, hand sanitizers for people to buy at a very cheap price too, Yeah. So they were able to quickly read the market, understand what the customers needed at that moment, change their processes, and were able to provide this product that the customers needed. What that did for them is that now the customers, you kind of like earn some goodwill with the customers because they know that you care about them. It's not just about selling alcohol to them for them to drink and then get drunk and do all sorts of unnecessary things, but you care about them. So after the COVID, now if you bring out a product, that goodwill that you have already gained is going to carry on to the new product that you're bringing out there. There are so many, these topics, we can tackle them from so many different angles. I'm just using one angle to drive the message home. So innovation is really improving, not just improving, finding a market that is not being well served or is being underserved, and then serving them properly.
I see. Then, the alcohol example that you even gave, the alcoholic beverages, companies that you, the example that you give, I also saw that seamstresses and tailors also innovated. They started making nose masks with the materials that, the regular. fabrics.
And I don't want to jump too ahead of the conversation, but once you brought this up, let me bring this also.
Sure.
COVID was negative, right? But then COVID created a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs who are still riding on the revenue that they raised during the COVID era to build, like, to keep on producing their products. When COVID hit, people who were producing nose masks, they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
People were able to import nose masks, they made a lot of money. Was that innovation? Yes, it was, because they realized a gap in the market. They realized that a market segment that wasn't being properly served, and then they innovated, right? Aside that, those who were making liquid soap business became very popular around the COVID time.
That's
Why?
true.
Because there was growing demand, and then the current producers just couldn't meet the demand. So then other people also jumped in and started producing liquid soaps. Some of them are still producing liquid soap right now, and they're still making money from it just because they were able to study the markets, listen to the customers, and innovate, and then serve the underserved markets properly. So that is it for innovation.
Right. So very, very interesting. So as the times are changing, you also look at other things. But can a business remain relevant without constantly innovating? I want you to be blunt on that one.
No. You won't be relevant for long. You have to constantly innovate. Look at, let me take you to the how do you call it, the mobile phone market, right? And when I was growing up, we knew Nokia, we knew what were the other brands?
Motorola,
HTC,
BlackBerry, and all of those ones.
Motorola, the Motorola Razr, the flip one, was a very beautiful phone.
Yeah.
All of these phones died. These brands, they died just because of Apple, because Apple was able to look at what was there and innovate. Apple brought out the first fully touch mobile phone. It took people by storm. People switched quickly from the feature phones with the keypads to the new innovative iPhone. And iPhone has been the market leader ever since, followed by Samsung. Why? Because they were able to innovate. So if you and for the companies that were not able to innovate quickly, they died off, like Nokia. I mentioned Nokia today, and I feel sad because Nokia was one of the best phone brands. You know Nokia 3310, right?
Yeah.
It was one of the best mobile phones. But because Nokia wasn't able to innovate quickly, not just innovate quickly, because the market moves very, very quickly. Customer tastes, consumer behavior, customer preferences change constantly and very quickly. Even today, people are buying iPhones. Tomorrow, there can be another disruptor that will change customer tastes. They'll stop buying iPhones and start buying that one. So if the Apple company doesn't innovate quickly as well, they will fall off. Look at Google, and then look at ChatGPT. ChatGPT has innovated on providing information for people in a very different way. I'm talking about AI and then the traditional Google search that we used to have.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking at first, the key competitors for Google were Bing, Yahoo, and Yandex.ru, and those other search engines, right?
Yeah.
But now, if you ask Google, who are your key competitors, they will say AI search.
It's true.
More specifically, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
So now, because of changing customer tastes, Google has been forced to now introduce their own AI system on their search so that they don't lose AI searches or AI intended searches they don't lose those volumes to ChatGPT. So
Right.
I mean, innovation is extremely important for businesses, and you have to be able to innovate quickly so that you don't get left behind.
I see. Right. Let me come to Emmanuel Boateng. Am I still with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, great. So, from an economic standpoint, how does innovation actually strengthen a country's business, environment overall?
Well, I think innovation is essential, like you were saying, innovation is typically in line with your R&D, research and development. Because you innovate if you've not seen a gap. Once there is a gap, you innovate. And certainly, once you innovate it has a toll on the customers who you serve. Literally, look at the number of people who keep lining up in need of, let me use an international brand, maybe a new, because I'm not in that market, the names are not even easy for me to mention. These SUVs and V8s and what have them that they call them. Do you know there are people who actually order before the car is made?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Even iPhones, people are looking forward to the next model or release. But that is somebody's innovation. Somebody has just added something to it. It's just sad that in our parts of the world, innovation sometimes means to people copying. People just copy blindly and then they sort of put out a similar thing and then they think they are innovating. You see, and that is where we get it wrong. That is where we get it wrong entirely. Because once you are innovating, then the long-term run is going to increase your revenue. Once you increase your revenue, you become profitable. For me as a government or at the government front, once your profit goes up, it means that your tax in terms of nominal terms also go up, and it gives us some more money for development. So in simple terms, innovation becomes the primary driver of long-term economic growth and productivity improvement. Because then we'll see technological gains through efficiency. See, new technology and processes allow businesses to produce more with the same inputs. That's what innovation does. It also comes with cost reductions over time. Innovation will reduce your production cost. It will make your goods and services more affordable. Then, studies have shown that 50% to 80% of long-term economic growth comes from technological innovation, which is the part of innovation.
I see.
So it has yes on your GDP. See, mobile money in Ghana increased financial inclusion from 41% to about 70%, enabling billions in transactions that previously did not occur. Then you see innovation also leading to job creation and transformation, because as it were, innovation would mean that new employment opportunities are created. It creates entirely new industries and job categories that didn't exist in the past. That is what innovation does. See, our tech sector grew by 36% in 2023, and that created.
Hello, Emmanuel. All right, I think I'm sure the network is not helping. But Emmanuel Jari, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sure. Emmanuel, we lost you. Emmanuel Boateng, I think you're back, but we lost you at some point. Are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you were talking about tech, and you were saying that that actually also helps in job creation and all of that. I mean, innovation helps in job creation. That's where we lost you at.
Sorry. So I was saying that it creates entirely new industries and job categories that we didn't have in the past.
Yeah.
Look at our tech sector. It grew by 36% in 2023 alone, creating thousands of new jobs for Ghanaians. Across the continent, we've seen the role of fintech, we've seen the role of e-commerce, we've seen the role of digital services, among other things, except for the fact that in Ghana, a lot of people think the way to innovate is to put your product out there on Instagram and on your WhatsApp status. We are not really seeing people come out to develop something new.
But that is also innovation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's innovation in some sense, but it's like copying. I mean, there are levels of innovation. I feel like in Ghana, you see a lot of this person is doing that and it's going on well. Let me also do it. That in technical terms, we call that we lag. We don't lead.
Right.
When it comes to innovation, we don't lead. We are lagging. It looks like need to be do it and then I'll follow, more or less. That is how it appears. So yes, not only has innovation led to productivity and economic growth, like I've explained, it has also led to job creation and transformation. Then you can talk about giving you competitive advantage. From an economic standpoint, innovation is one thing that gives you competitive edge. See, countries that innovate lead economically. You can think of those countries, United States of America. You can think of China. You can think of South Korea, Germany, among others. Look at the cars. Where are we importing them from? Mobile phones. Where are we importing them from? New ways of doing things. We are even learning some people's innovation to apply and adopt them here. That is what is happening. You see those leading the whole world. So innovation matters. In fact, it attracts foreign investment and it attracts talent. Our digital infrastructure investments as a whole positions us as a West African technology hub. And that is innovation will do.
Right.
So among our peers here in Africa, if we're able to innovate, I'm telling you that in the end, we are going to stand tall. Maybe let me add the benefit that it brings to consumers. Once there is innovation, like I explained earlier, there is production efficiency. Once there is production efficiency, low prices will become the thing. And that is good for the customers. Better quality. Because innovation means you are finding new ways of doing the whole thing, making it better and better and better. And what are we interested in as consumers or as customers? Better quality. Continuous product and service improvement leads to better quality. Innovation is very important, especially in a more competitive environment.
Right.
Whenever the environment is literally, I mean, think of it this way: you are in a class of 30 students, maybe basic school or senior high school. Once the class is competitive, you see that everybody gives us their best.
Yeah.
But if you are still a champion and always the first in class and nobody really, maybe the gap between you and even the second person is very, very bad. I mean, too wide. There is low motivation to do more, to find ways of doing more. You see, just look at
right.
It's very competitive. So the players find new ways of playing better to become better and better each day. So yes, that is the economic impact of innovation. It improves every part of the economy. And I think the multiplier effect is there, and you see the impact on the economy overall through the GDP growth and productivity levels.
I see. I like how you've broken that down. Very important things you talk about there. Now, it's not always easy to change. We are calling for innovation. We are saying that people should change and do things better and all of that. And Emmanuel Jari, you actually talked about that a while ago, saying that the older generation are not innovating as fast as, or they are not adapting to change as fast as the young people because of the technology gap that we are seeing. But maybe you should share with us, Emmanuel Jari, how can entrepreneurs, how can they build flexibility into their operations when, for instance, they've done the same things for a very long time? How can they build flexibility into their operations?
Okay, thank you. So to build flexibility into your operations, again, I have to repeat myself. Listen to your customers. Because what is flexible? Who determines what is flexible? Well, if maybe when you say operations, you're talking about the internal operations. But then again, the internal operations will influence how the customer will get to experience your business or your product or service. So again, listen to your customers. And if there's a process within your company that is creating bottlenecks for your customers, it's rather, instead of solutions, you are creating pain points for your customers. Maybe you do away with it because your processes should not be frustrating your customers. For instance, a customer goes to a company, I want this, I want us to do this. Oh, how do you, why? And I see that a lot in a lot of the, I don't want to be political, but I see that in a lot of the government institutions where you go there and very, very simple things. There are so long, bureaucratic processes of doing it. I understand that, yes, there are processes laid down that they have to go through to actually do what you need to do for you. But then maybe the government institutions should also sit down and ask themselves, are these processes all necessary? Everybody is complaining. Why are we still doing it? Can we improve it? I mean, these are questions that it should come naturally. Maybe because I'm a marketer, I've been doing marketing, I advocate for customers all the time. It comes very easily to me. But then you see that sometimes I feel as if companies don't really care about their customers like that. Because if you did, you would ask yourself these questions. Because you'll be trying to innovate even your processes. How can I innovate my processes to make it very easy for my customers to deal with me, get the products and services that they need and all of that, So to answer your question, how entrepreneurs can make their business process more flexible, they should be able to listen to their customers, and then they should adopt technology, because I think technology makes it easier to do everything. Imagine this. Um, in some years past, right? If you wanted to sell a product, you have first of all have to probably advertise on a billboard, which is expensive, or TV advert, which is also extremely expensive, or even radio, which is also very expensive, right? But now, I said it earlier, you can sit in your home, create a business page on Facebook, and with just $10, advertise, reach your customers, they will place the order. They don't even have to call you, or they don't even have to come to you don't even have to have a shop, right? Reach your customer, they place their order, you deliver to them, you get your money, you have revenue, business. It wasn't like that before, you know. So when you adopt technology, it helps with innovation as well, and it makes dealing with your customers easier than not adopting the technology. So these two things: listen to your customers, adopt technology, and always try to improve. Just
Right.
be flexible.
But on some businesses actually resist innovation altogether. We are still calling for that, but a lot of people just resist it. You are an analyst. Why do some businesses resist change, even when, of course, there's a need for it?
Well, I think it's a fascinating behavioral economics question, if you ask me. And to it, there may be several factors that underpin that. First of all, there's what we call a status quo bias.
What?
You need to humans naturally.
There is what we call what?
A status quo bias.
Okay, right.
As humans as we are, we naturally prefer familiarity, and change feels really difficult and risky, even when staying the same is riskier. I mean, we know that. Look at classrooms, change your sitting position and somebody is angry. I always want to go back there because it brings a lot of memories down the lane. I mean, you ask people to change something and change is very difficult. But you see, business owners think this way. This has worked for 20 years. Why should I change it? This formula has been working. Why should I change it? Just because the whole world is changing. That is one of the reasons. Because of that status quo bias. The second reason may deal with a certain fallacy that business owners may be believing in, maybe from sunk cost perspective. They feel like, I've invested heavily in existing systems. See, I've invested a lot of money into my current infrastructure and ways of doing things. I've invested a lot into training my employees on how this business runs. Why should I abandon them and go for something new? I mean, to them, that feels like admitting that what we've been doing is a waste of time. Even if continuing with them means losing competitiveness. Another one would be the lack of knowledge, or otherwise you say knowledge gap, which typically happens. Not every business is into research, into development, is into finding out what is new and how do we adapt. Not every business is into training and retraining the rest of them. And entrepreneurs don't resist change because they are stubborn. No, there are some who resist change because they don't understand the new technologies or approaches very well. They don't understand them well enough to feel confident about implementing them. Fear of the unknown is very powerful. Maybe another reason may be their short-term plan as against what they are to gain a long-term perspective. Need change actually requires some upfront investment and costs. When you're already struggling with cash flow, or your daily operations, you are struggling with investing, in some things that you ought to do. Literally, investing in transformation then feels impossible, even if it is necessary for you to survive. And that's why I think businesses often wait until crisis force them to change rather than adapting proactively. Are we saying that Zoom conference call did not exist before COVID? It did. But we wanted COVID to happen before. Some wanted it to happen before they. And after COVID, but this is really good though. Let's use it. I'm sure you've seen such things.
Yeah, of course.
That is the problem that we have typically. The
Hello. All right, the line is breaking. Emmanuel Jari, are you still with us?
Recommendation: lead, don't lag. When you lag, you are first to do it, and people are following. You are the one controlling the.
Okay, we lost. I think we lost Emmanuel again. Jari, are you still with us?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. So
if they are bleeding and you are lagging, very.
Hello, Emmanuel. Hello, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I think my network.
Yes, the network keeps breaking. I think you need to innovate.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. That's you what?
I'm lagging.
Yeah, you're lagging. Exactly. Yes, the network is lagging. You need to lead. All right. So, but I think that your point is made. There are several reasons why business actually struggle to. Several reasons why they actually resist change or innovation. Really, there's so much to talk about. We haven't spoken about technology into details. We haven't spoken about consumer behavior and all of that. I also mentioned we're going to talk about financing. We will try and see if we can touch on those ones briefly because I'm looking at our time as well. But please hold on for me. Let me just announce the phone lines one more time. And then if anybody wants to join, they can do so. If you're tuned in, this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Nitrebi Hammond. And this morning, we're having a conversation on how business owners can actually succeed in changing times. And you are free to join the conversation. Please send me a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019, or you can call me on 0303956641, 0303956641. And we'll give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with us this morning. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please do well to drop a comment under any of the posts, and we will read your comments for you. All right. So let's continue the conversation. We'll touch briefly on technology, and then maybe we'll talk about consumer behavior, which Ejari, I know that is your space really. We'll touch on those ones briefly, and then we'll talk about financing. Then maybe we can wrap up. So, Emmanuel, let me come back to you. Technology is one of the biggest forces reshaping business today, and I think we've all acknowledged that already. How critical, from where you said, Ima, how critical is digital transformation for Ghanaian business or Ghanaian SMEs right now? Hello,
Is it
Emmanuel Boateng? Yes, Emmanuel B. Or yes, Emmanuel B.
All right. Let me be clear about this. It's no longer an option. See, digital transformation is not an option. It has moved from being a competitive advantage to a basic requirement. The numbers tell the story. 73% of retail customers now use mobile money weekly, up to 7 percentage points just from last year. We saw our mobile money transactions in this country hit 2.36 trillion cedis. That's not a niche market. That is mainstream commerce. If your business can't accept mobile money, your business doesn't have a social media presence, your business cannot be found online, you are essentially invincible to a rapidly growing segment of the market. And if you are in operation, you shouldn't call yourself a business. You just exist in the textbooks and maybe in the history books. And this is critical because this segment includes younger customers with growing purchasing power who expect digital capabilities as a baseline. It's a minimum requirement, necessary condition that every business must fulfill. But you see, this is what makes it critical right now. We are at an inflection point, Karen. Early adopters have actually gained significant advantage. There are people who went strong in technology and they've gained significant advantage. And the gap between digital and non-digital business is widening very fast. I can tell you as a matter of fact, within the next 2 to 3 years, this gap may become impossible to close. The businesses that digitize now can still catch up. Those that wait another 5 years may find themselves permanently non-competitive. And I say, if you are offline, and then I think you are out of business because your customers, all of them are online, and they want you online. Once you are offline, they're out of business.
I see. So digital transformation is very important for businesses. Now, Emmanuel Jari, you are on the field. I like to say that because you give us the real experience. What digital tools or online platforms have made the most impact in your business?
Let me move away from my business per se. Let me talk about businesses in
generally.
general.
All right, sure.
Right? Look, I think TikTok rose to fame in 2020 during the lockdown. Do you agree? Yes. I will tell you for a fact that TikTok is changing how business is done. Now you will find big businesses making funny videos for customers to watch. Why? Because they understand that the customers want to be entertained. In the past, it was in the past content from how do you call it? Businesses were usually all about their products, their services, their products, their services, their processes. Now they have come to realize that hey, when we keep on doing that, they won't mind us. The customers will not pay us any attention, especially the young customers. They think that the customer segment that we call the Gen Zs, right? They think very differently. You have to engage them. You have to sometimes even seek and ask them for their ideas. They want to feel involved in it. And when you are not doing that, they just can't connect with you as much as they connect with someone else. That is why brands are using influencers so much of late. Because if you put your advertisement on your platform, just on your platform, they are not even coming to watch it. But if you put your advertisement or if you leverage the popularity that the influencer has, and you are able to get your message across through the influencer, it is more digestible to the customer, the younger generation, the Gen Zs. They like that. They can connect with that better, and it influences them more easier than it would have if you put it just on your platform. So yes, digital transformation has changed how we do businesses. Now, when you come to my business, for instance, I'll tell you for a fact that something as simple as mobile money has opened up the world to us. Mobile money, online payments, where you can have a client in US, they can pay you through mobile money. They can pay you through, Western Union. Western Union wasn't there before. Western Union, I'll say, is a digital transformation. It's an innovation on on how do you call it, payments, right?
Yeah.
So it has opened up the world, and we can sit in Ghana and then we're looking for customers or clients outside of Ghana, from Liberia, from Gambia, from Kenya, from US, from UK. So it was more difficult back then, and that is also supported by our digital presence, our websites, our social media, our email marketing. How we are able to. These are some of the things that we use to actually connect with our customers, deal with this, and then provide the service that they need for them. So yes, these are some of the tools that we use and
right
happening. Digital are influencing how consumers are behaving.
I see. Right. So let's look at one of the biggest changes that is happening right now in the marketplace. Customers. They don't behave like they used to anymore. What are some of the major shifts that you have also noticed in in consumer behavior recently?
Yes. So I think I touched on it briefly earlier. The young tech-savvy customers called Gen Zs. Imagine this, right? When I was growing up, I didn't have a smartphone until I think after JSS. And even with that one, it wasn't a smartphone. It was a feature phone, right? I don't know if you can relate with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our time, I didn't have a mobile phone until after JSS. But I tell you this, the younger generation, I can say averagely, they started interacting, having their own mobile phones, not just feature phones, but smartphones as early as primary school, right?
Yeah.
Mobile phones, smartphones, they've been making content, they've been putting up content, they've been interacting with content. How they use phones are very different. It's very different from how we use phones and how the older generation also uses phones, right? So so just by that alone, you can tell that how they interact with brands is going to be very different. These customers are digital first customers. So if you want to reach them, you have to adopt digital. If you don't go digital, you are just not going to reach them. If you are trying to connect with the young tech savvy customer, and your main channel for get message to them is maybe the traditional channels, print, radio, TV. You may miss them. You may get some chance, but majority of them you're going to miss them because they just are just not uh, that they are just not on traditional platforms. They are tech natives, you know. And so this has also influenced how businesses operate and how businesses are able to reach their customers, right?
Right.
See that these customers, let me take you through a typical customer journey for such a customer, a tech native, tech forward customer. Typically, you will see they will get exposed to your brand through maybe a TikTok video that they've watched, right?
Yeah.
And they will see your products. Then they will come to your page. They will follow through and come to your page, check you out, see some comments under your post to see, kind of like gauge and poke around and determine whether they can trust you, whether they can buy from you or not. They may even go on Google to look for more information about your brand, your company, some other competitors, just to try and compare and see. Now, when they finally settle on you, they may never call. In fact, they will never call you. They will text you. They will text you on WhatsApp or on your TikTok channel or on your Instagram page. They will text you. I want to buy this. Okay, this, that. They will pay through mobile money. You will deliver to them. And please, when you are delivering, for entrepreneurs listening to me, when you are delivering, surprise them. Add something. Add something in there so that like it can be anything. It can be a gift. It can be a cheap toy. It can be anything. Just to excite them.
Right.
When the product gets to them and they are excited, they are going to take your product, use it, and if you are lucky, they're even going to become your advocates where they are making videos. And but because don't forget, they are tech first, they are digital first customers. They are very used to creating content, expressing their displeasures and pleasures online. So if they are pleased, they will express their pleasure online. They may make videos, they may just make a post, they may take a picture and share it. When they do that, they have become advocates for you. Their friends may see their post and actually come back to you, follow through, come to you and come and buy because now I know a friend who bought from you and loved the service, loved the products. Definitely, if I also buy from you, I'll love the service, so I'll reach out to you. You understand? So this is I've taken you through the entire customer journey for such a customer, the tech savvy customer, right?
Right.
Understanding this, nothing happened offline. Everything from end to end happened online. So imagine you are running a business and these are the customers you want to reach, and then you are not digital. I mean, are you getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting you.
You are just not going to make it.
Good. Right.
So these customers and their changing tastes and their changing demands influence how businesses operate immensely.
Okay, so we've seen some changes in recent times. Let's try and finally touch on financing, and let me talk to Ima. So you mentioned funding and financing as one of the big problems early on in when it comes to staying ahead, and you're saying that it often depends on access to capital in the right environment. What can be done to actually improve access to finance for small and medium enterprises in Ghana, Emmanuel? Hello, Emmanuel Boateng, sorry.
Yeah. I think this is one of the most critical constraints, actually, on business growth in Ghana. The statistics, man. See, the IFC estimates that SME financing gap in sub-Saharan Africa alone is about $331 billion. Financing gap in sub-Saharan Africa. In Ghana, our SMEs actually represent about 92% of all businesses, and they employ more than 85% of our workforce. Yet most of them struggle to access capital. And I think there are several interventions that must be carried out. The first one has to do with reducing the risk premium. Lending out money. I mean, let me just start from the baseline. Maybe if we want to start a business today, you and I, we need some assets and everything that we need. There are two fundamental areas we can get money from, either from ourselves or from elsewhere. Once you are getting money from, you are borrowing. Once you are borrowing, it means we have to pay back. The risk that somebody who has borrowed money will be able to pay back is very important to the one who is lending out the money. That is why two people will come to you for money, for a loan, and you give one and not give one. So reducing the risk premium is very essential. You see, government and some development partners can provide partial guarantees that reduce banks' risk to allow them to be able to lend to SMEs at lower rates. And we've seen this work in other markets, and it can happen. In fact, once you're able to reduce risk on the market, it will even have an impact on how much price is charged for lending out money to an SME. The other thing has to do with exploring other alternative financing mechanisms. Fintech lending, invoice financing, supply chain finance, equity crowdfunding. There are so many things that can be done. These alternatives typically serve SMEs that banks consider too risky or costly. And the recent growth of companies like ZPay, I'm sure you know them, it demonstrates that potential is there. We can also improve SME financial literacy and record keeping. Many SMEs struggle to keep their books. Many SMEs don't even know how much profit they make in a year. They can only give you an estimate. Once you're able to, improve that, we are getting close. You see that. Training them, educating them, among other things. We can also look at reducing interest rates through monetary policy interventions as inflation has stabilized. Our policy rate is now at 21.5%, and Ghana reference rate, let me see if I can get that. But it's below the, how do you call it? It's below the monetary policy rate. Ghana reference rate is about 17.86% for October. Look at that. Once that comes down further, you know you've done some work there. So let's see. Until we are able to reduce interest rates through monetary policy as inflation is stabilizing, improve SME finance, financial literacy programs through education and training, expand alternative financing mechanisms to SMEs, among other things. The problem I highlighted, the financing gap of $331 billion in sub-Saharan Africa, where Ghana has over 92% of businesses as SMEs, employing more than 85% of our population. That problem will still be there. We need to be able to surmount that mountain.
Right. Okay. Our time is up, and so we have to go now. But maybe I'll take your final thoughts each, and then we can wrap up. I think we had a great conversation so far. So let me take your thoughts, your final thoughts, Emmanuel Ejari, and then I come to you, Emmanuel Boateng, and then we wrap up.
Okay. Thank you. So soon we are at the end of the program.
Yeah.
But before I bring my final thoughts, I want to touch briefly on what he said. I want to challenge all the entrepreneurs listening to me today. Look, funding is a big deal, but sometimes, trust me, you don't need funding. You need to innovate. Trust me. There are so many solutions that you can bring to the market that don't necessarily need money. Think, research, ask your customers, listen, and innovate. You don't always need money. Now, coming to my final statement, I'll say that take this away from me as we are ending the program. Understand that the customer is king. Always listen to your customers. That means listen, research, observe, ask. The customer will tell you, sometimes when you ask, the customer will tell you exactly what they want. Your job then is just to provide that particular thing that they're asking for. And your job is done. They'll reward you with loyalty, right? Aside that, innovate. I've said that already. Innovation never stops. Keep innovating on your offerings. Lastly, go digital. The whole world has gone digital. So what are you waiting for?
Right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Ejari. Thank you so much. Let me hear from Emmanuel Boateng, then we can go. Ima, finally, in 30 seconds.
You know, one message I want every business owner listening to us this morning to take away. It is this. We are living through one of the most exciting periods in Ghana's economic history. Yes, we face challenges, inflation crisis, currency volatility, among other things. But look at where we are now. Inflation is down to 9.4%. The cedi has stabilized, performing strongly. GDP is growing around 5.7%. Our digital economy is booming with 2.36 trillion cedis over transactions alone. We are hosting after Secretariat, positioning Ghana at the center of $3.4 trillion continental market. Our tech sector is also growing at 36% annually. These aren't just statistics. See, they are signals of enormous opportunities in the market. The business owner that feeling overwhelmed by digital transformation. Remember, you don't need to transform everything overnight. Accept more money this week. Create a business WhatsApp account next week. Post about your social business, about your business on social media the week after. Small steps compound into transformation. If you are worried about competition, remember, your competitors are just as uncertain as you are. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail behind isn't intelligence or resources. Actually, it's action. It is the willingness to learn, to adapt, to innovate, to move forward despite the uncertainties. To our young entrepreneurs out there, I have a word for you. You are not just the future of Ghana's economy. You are the economy. Your digital fluency, your innovative thinking, your willingness to challenge the status quo. These are exactly what Ghana needs. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Build, create, innovate, and inspire on for greatness.
You might not be small speech with that too. All right. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and thanks for your insights. I'm really, really grateful that you made time this morning to join me right here on the Business Breakfast on Z. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Emmanuel Ejari Ajay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That's what you have when you say to be Emmanuel.
This is the brotherhood.
I know, right? Okay, all right, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Please do enjoy the rest of your day. All right, so that was our in-house economic analyst Emmanuel Boateng, and also Emmanuel Ejari. He is the general manager of High Pro Marketing. And these are the two gentlemen who joined me this morning for our roundtable discussion. It's been a very great conversation about how businesses or business owners can actually succeed in changing times. I believe that you've gotten some value, and thank you so much for listening to us. And thanks so much to our guests for also joining us this morning. We're back again tomorrow for other conversations, more interesting ones. And I hope that you join us tomorrow right from 6:15 a.m. to about 9:55 or 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. All right. So my name is Nitrebi Hammond. This has been Business Breakfast on Z. Please continue to listen to Z101.9 FM and continue to enjoy our shows. Up next is The Impact by the Rise Up Bring project. Please stay tuned.
Welcome to the